Hello everyone and happy weekend. Welcome to Dust Covers for Wonderlist. So for those of you who are subscribed to Owlcrate and got the June 2017 Make It Out Alive crate, you know that we actually received 2 books instead of 1. So we got a bonus book. We got not only the monthly book of the Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson, but we also got New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson, which I reviewed in my last YouTube video from my June wrap-up. I actually read that one first before the monthly book, because I was immediately drawn to it over this one, and it was definitely my favorite one of the month, but I did enjoy the Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson. It was an author I've never heard of, it was a novel I've never heard of, so it was definitely a different read than what I'm used to reading. So the Sandcastle Empire is a kind of a post-war, post-apocalyptic novel that follows the main character Eden, who is on this island that is separated from the world that we used to know. So she's forced into these like labor type camps. She works in the silk factories, and she is ultimately trying to escape to go to this sanctuary her father told her about, where people who arrive with good intentions will be kind of saved from this tormented world that they've been thrown into. However, when she escapes the night that she finally escapes on the sailboat with these other girls, they find that finding sanctuary is a lot more difficult than they had first anticipated, and the clues that her father left her are actually more of riddles and not the full story that she understood them to be in the first place. But they do make it to the island. They try to find the people. Eventually, they realize that their group is kind of getting torn apart and taken over by what they call the wolves, which is the bad people, who are trying to I consider it like enslaving humanity and humans and trying to rule above them as kind of masters. And to kind of be on top, but this boat full of boys comes in, and 2 teams work together to kind of lead the resistance to take down the wolves and to save everyone that they can with the new technology that their families have been working on. Not sure if that actually made sense, because I'm trying really hard not to give too much away of the story, because there are so many little details in there that are fantastic, but I don't want to give any big parts of the story away. So that's kind of the gist of it. They're on a boat, then they're on an island, crap happens. So let's talk about the characters. I gave this novel a 4-star review on GoodReads, mostly because of the characters themselves and my ability to kind of get involved in the novel itself. I found personally that a lot of the characters were very stock character. Felt like they were just kind of picked off the shelves. You know, you have the blonde, the redhead, the bad girl who wants to become the good girl, you got the bad boy, you've got the traitors. I didn't feel any sort of personal connection to any of them or any kind of bond with them like I normally feel when I'm reading novels. Not that her characters are not well written, they very much are, and they're very unique, but at the same time I kind of felt like they were very flat. And that is the #1 reason why I gave it a 4-star and not a 5-star, because I feel like that is a big distraction away from the novel itself, because I don't feel sympathy or empathy for the characters because I just can't connect to them at all. The overall setting and plotline of the story, in the beginning actually I felt moved very slowly. I had a really hard time getting into the novel and kind of being like, okay, just a couple more chapters and I'm sure something exciting is going to happen. And actually it did eventually. About halfway through I really found myself digging into the novel and being unable to put it down. I would stay up late trying to finish it, and I read it in about, I think I read the entire novel in about a week. It's, I don't know, 400 and something pages, 450 something pages, but personally I felt it went a tad bit slow in the beginning, which is why I kind of lagged around a little bit to get into it. I wasn't immediately drawn into it like I was the other novel that we got this month in the June crate. So at first I wasn't as excited about it, but once I started getting into it more and learning about the island that they're on and what's actually happening, I really found myself enjoying it a lot more. The overall setting of the novel was very interesting. It was kind of like a mix between that TV show Lost and kind of reminds me of the Maze Runner series too, where there's all these twists and turns and events that are unexpected that happen to the characters while they're on this island, and there's all these mysterious circumstances that kind of are in play, but at the same time they're all actually very controlled situations. It's just not in their control, it's in the other's control. So that's kind of what it reminded me of, a little bit of mix of Maze Runner and maybe that TV series Lost, where they're on that, just because mostly they're on that island and weird stuff happens, kind of like what happens in the Sandcastle Empire. So right? Most young adult novels, there is a little bit of an essence of romance. I mean, I feel like you almost can't write a young adult novel with some sort of flirtation or building of a relationship, which there is in the Sandcastle Empire, but I actually really liked the relationship. I kind of found myself like, oh, they're so cute, between the two people that kind of start to fall for each other. I did feel like the relationship really went quickly, and maybe I just didn't understand how the time was spread out between chapters or events, or how many days had passed between them meeting and them, pretty much falling in love head over heels with each other. So maybe that was my misunderstanding and maybe not Kayla Olson's fault, but I felt like in this, how big the novel was, that relationship, yes, it was not a main focus, but it felt like at the very end it was like, well, I almost feel like you need a sequel to go along with it to keep building their relationship, because now I want to know what happens with them, and you kind of left me hanging. So overall, I did give this one a 4-star review on GoodReads, which you can find my entire review in the info section below from this video. One last point I did want to make about this novel, it's actually not even about the novel, it's about the author herself, Kayla Olson. From day one of me posting on Instagram pictures of her novel, or me reading her novel, or little things about her novel, she was there and liking all of the photos that everybody was posting, and she was making sure that she went through and commented even something, just dropping a little "hope you enjoy it" or "yay" on all the photos, and I really found that very enlightening, and I love that she went out of her way to make sure that her readers felt like she did care that they are out there reading her books, and that she's paying attention as much as we're paying attention to what she's doing. So it's definitely fun to see her name pop up on my Instagram a couple of times unexpectedly, just to see her little comments and the communication that she is doing with her readers. And that's definitely bonus points for you, Kayla, for taking the time to make all of your readers feel very special, because in this technological world that we live in, social media is such a big aspect of it that I feel like if authors aren't using it, then it's kind of at their disadvantage. So bonus points for you, kudos for you. Thanks so much for finding me on Instagram. Yeah, so overall, it was a really good novel. Like I said in the beginning, I had a hard time really getting into the story, but I found myself unable to put the novel down in the end, and I really do recommend it to anybody who's looking for a good girl power survival novel. Again, that is the Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson. It was the June 2017 Owlcrate subscription box. Well, that's all I have for you guys this weekend, or at least for tonight. My review of the Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson. As always, you can find me on other social media devices as well. All of my information is linked in the info section below, as well as the link to my GoodReads review of the Sandcastle Empire. As always, have a great weekend and happy reading!